All right, so live again, talking about some Underground Nexus things again. So, for those who don't know what the Underground Nexus is, it's kind of like having a Linux terminal inside of it's like having a virtual machine without a virtual machine. It's kind of light, but you can have multiples of them, so it's kind of like that. So, for those who are wondering what the Underground Nexus is, we have a lot of resources on the GitHub landing page for the official Underground Ops Underground Nexus website and repository. We have everything from Underground Nexus architectures. If you take a look at the architectures, all the way to how to use the tool and how to get started with it. To get started with the Underground Nexus, for those wanting to learn how to use it, it is a tool that uses Docker, so that is a thing that you do need. And once you have Docker, then you basically copy and paste two commands. So if you're using Windows, you might use a Windows command prompt. If you're using Linux, it might be a Linux terminal. If you're using anything else other than Windows, then it's a terminal. But you pull up your little terminal or command prompt and you copy the information for the hardware you're using. You could be using a Raspberry Pi or a Jetson. It does require a 64-bit operating system. And then the second command that you apply to activate it is this command here. Now, yes, you do have to know how to use a terminal to work with the Underground Nexus somewhat, because it is a cloud-native tool actually built for doing work on the cloud-native landscape. So if you're trying to figure out what can you do with this thing, if you're trying to work in cloud, or you're trying to work in cloud native, or you do work in cloud or cloud native and you don't want to deal with VMs and you want something that's lightweight that you can spin up wherever you want, whether it's local or somewhere else, wherever you can run Docker, then you can try working on your projects inside of the Underground Nexus. It is designed to be a workbench so that you can get your work done with less chaos, so you can just kind of get right to it. Less networking of the machines, less time waiting on VMs, all that stuff. So, Jermaine, we're going to get a special demo today of what can you do with the Underground Nexus. So, I'll let you kind of start getting into your project, Jermaine. Tell them about all
Okay.
the magic.
Let me share my screen.
And then I'll go ahead and make sure that it gets. There
Is
we
that
go.
good?
Yeah, let me make it big, and then of course I have all these windows doing strange things. Alright, so let me adjust this so that everyone can see the screen. Okay. So now everyone can see what
Okay.
you've been working on.
So for me, it's I like pushing and seeing what I can get done with hardware, seeing how far I can take it, and I guess for me it was to really see what I can do within the Nexus and how far I can push the Nexus. So what I did here is I built a Minecraft server, and that's a Docker container, right? You can actually let me go to the log, and you'll see in the logs that it spun up no problem. And you can see that I joined the game. Now, most people probably think like, oh, you joined the game from like, well, outside of the Nexus. But what I end up doing is actually joining from within the Nexus. So I have a Minecraft client up, and I am in the game on the Nexus with the server right there.
All
So
of the
to
above.
me, this is like very cool. This is definitely pushing it. There's still little things to figure out because obviously, like, the mouse is thinking, like, okay, you're in the client, but at the same time, it knows that I'm in a browser, so you can see how it gets a little bit buggy. And that's like little things I would have to figure out. But, I just want to see how far I can actually push this.
And so
And
you're
this was
running a
just like,
Minecraft server. And then outside of the Minecraft server, but still in the Nexus, you are also playing Minecraft on a different host in the Nexus that's also hosting the Minecraft server.
So yeah,
That's amazing.
and
And I guess
and
a question
then
I'll ask you, are you able to, like, if someone else wanted to join and they're like sitting right there next to you, like, hey, can I play with you? Can they join you?
I mean, yeah, because all I would have to do is just spin up a another Nexus for them to connect through, and that would be no problem. Yeah, yeah.
That's
So if they
amazing.
wanted to, it's definitely possible.
And I guess
Now,
and then you'd set up a VPN even if you can do that, you could set up a VPN and then you can host anyone.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So because that's like a whole nother thing right there. If you do the VPNs, yeah,
Oh
yeah. If
man,
you want to, you can technically just have your own private network full of nexuses all over the place, right? And collaborate with whomever, whenever,
could build
if that's like your goal. Yeah,
different Minecrafts. Well, I guess if you can build a Minecraft server, you could have different Minecraft projects in your different Minecraft servers and just spin up a whole different bunch. Because I've seen some people that have like their different worlds for different things, right?
yeah, yeah. And then there was a really cool project. You see, the thing is that I don't want to get too deep. I'll go down the rabbit hole of Minecraft because there's actually like a project where they built a proxy, so you can, let's say you're in this Minecraft world and you want to portal into another world, you click on this portal and it's actually taking you into a whole nother server, or it could be the servers here, but another instance of Minecraft, and it's going through a proxy,
That's crazy.
and everything is linked. Like your character is linked in these worlds,
What?
and I'm just thinking to myself, like, oh, buddy, if I start
We
with this,
we have to try this now. You have like a sidecar proxy with a Minecraft Nexus that links to another Minecraft Nexus, and they could be VPN together, and then you could have a whole bunch of worlds that are like all around the world.
you
That's
see,
terrifying.
that's and that's I started looking at it, and I'm like, nope, nope, I'm not gonna do it because once I start, it's not gonna end.
It's the magic
So
of technology. So that's the main thing I wanted to talk about in this session is you can do just about anything in the Underground Nexus, because then there's that big question of like who uses this kind of thing. If you're not like a developer or working with like secure development, working with like GitOps or like the cloud native landscape, it's a really niche kind of solution. It's not really for everyone. It's like for the people who create the Facebooks or the create the LinkedIn's or create the social media, like the YouTube engineers, right? So if you're like trying to be an engineer at YouTube, well, then this might be some, or like an engineer at Netflix. Speaking of being an engineer at Netflix, they build open source cloud native tools, and you can actually use the free tools that Netflix shares. Did you know that, Jermaine?
you're talking about like the chaos engineering stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah, yeah. I actually started messing with some of it. It's very cool.
let's
I
see.
like it.
It is pretty crazy. Let's see if I can find because yeah, if we go down to chaos engineering, there's a bunch of different ones. I think is this one from Netflix? I don't know which one's from who anymore. There's just like so many different ones.
You,
Either way,
you,
Netflix has a bunch of tools.
you know which one I'm gonna try to get it up for the next one is the Doom Cube. Have you seen that?
I have not.
So the Doom Cube is something I want to do for one of the upcoming streams. It's like you actually have Kubernetes containers that keep spinning up, and I shouldn't say containers, but like the cubes are just like pods are popping up, namespaces, everything. And you can actually shoot them as if you're playing Doom, and it pops the pods, and
Oh,
then you actually get to see it respawn.
that's crazy. It's
And
called
they
what
even have
again?
Cube Doom,
Oh, I
and
wonder.
there's
I'll have to
Cube
check that one out.
Invaders. Yeah, and check out Cube Invaders too. It's like Space Invaders, but with pods, and you just pop them in space, and then you see them respawn. It's so great.
That sounds amazing. I think I just destroyed destroyed your video because I'm doing too much on this computer. But oh no, what did I do? It crashed. Hold on. Jermaine will come back.
Hello?
Oh, there you are. I think I lost you for a bit. But I think it lost the video entirely. I think I made my computer angry because it's streaming and doing so many things. But yeah, but yeah, we that's the demo. Let's see if I can get that to pop back out so that'll show up again. There it goes. There it is. I can. How can I hide? Oh, it's so complicated. How can I hide the? Anyways, this is the demo of the day. So I guess next week we're going to focus on taking a lot of what Jermaine's trying to learn, because Jermaine wants to learn a lot of things that normally you do have to like be in a data center or have access to like really expensive equipment to learn. So instead of giving Jermaine $100,000 to have some good cloud equipment, I'm going to unfortunately just give him the Nexus. Because we can learn the same lessons without $100,000. But what that does mean is we can learn all the tools like on this little tile like in the background. That's the cloud native landscape. It is a big, terrifying market that it's got like 1,000 different little technology projects and companies in it, and then it has like at least 3 million people who are following this whole landscape. So for anyone trying to learn this stuff without having endless dollars to break the bank with, then you can use the Underground Nexus and learn all of these things. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next week when we get into so I guess what would be your top interest, Jermaine, before we hop off here? Would you say Trafic?
Yeah, I want to say Trafic. I mean, there's also, I heard like Rex Ray. I don't know. I saw something of them. Like, I'm very big into storage right now. Like I love like the whole Longhorn, Minio. Like I want to understand all the storage, and I want to understand like proxies. You know.
Longhorn is a very cool tool. I think it's neat, and Rook is pretty interesting too. It's pretty similar storage solutions. But anyways, this website is landscape.cncf.io for anyone who's wondering what crazy website is. But we're going to spend some time learning the things that are interesting to Jermaine, to also just kind of show you like, well, what can you do with this? Well, you can learn these things, or if you already work with these things, you can do your work with these things. Or if you're trying to build projects with these things, it's the cloud native landscape. And you can work with yeah, there's a lot going on here. Oh, here we go. That's what I was looking for earlier. You can learn the stuff that you can go then get hired at Netflix because you know how to use Netflix tools, for example. How else are you going to learn how Netflix does stuff? By using their tools. But how are you going to figure out how to get access to those tools or get the systems or do any of that stuff? You can get the Underground Nexus, which is actually free, and it is this item here where you can learn the things that the people who create Netflix and other giant companies do. So without $100,000. So anyways, we'll go ahead and hop off for today, and then we're going to start learning some of this crazy stuff next week. How's that sound, Jermaine?
Sounds awesome to me. I'm ready.
So thanks everyone who watched. I didn't really interact with the chat much. It's just a lot going on. We're gonna make some crazy things. So we'll be back.